Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning. I think this is the 26th. It is. And my dance card is really completely filled, like to ridiculous levels. And grateful for being here with you. Last night I came down really hard on my people, and I gave more thought to that and more introspection. And I don't know if I owe the people an apology here, because it's like I don't owe them to be intelligent or smart or savvy. So I'm not sure that's really in order where I have to apologize, except for dramatic effect. But I want to tell you when I know that I've made a mistake and I want to share it with you. I dropped the ball, and I'm not being sarcastic in any way. I dropped the ball. The reason I dropped the ball, and this is the same thing as moving a chess piece into a position where you have allowed yourself to become vulnerable to a game-changing situation or a checkmate altogether, which means you lose the game, and you know it. And it certainly does qualify as a major blunder on my part, which I'm going to explain to you right now. And then we're going to get into the news, because I doubt there's really much new. So we'll cover this first. Sometimes I do not understand myself what we are up against. Sometimes I don't understand it. And it's important that you do understand this, because if you don't fully understand it, you can't use the dynamicness of your mind, which we're going to have to do. Because I consider myself pretty sharp at the edge of the sword, okay? I consider myself to be kind of militant on what's happening right now, and I certainly don't like it, and I think it is certainly unjust. But in a variety of ways, which we won't even get into. But it is most important that you people understand, as well as myself, because evidently I didn't heed my own advice or thinking of how big the opponent is. I told you before on my other channel, some of you here are new and you don't know, but I told you that we're fighting something called AI, artificial intelligence. Now, why is it so dangerous? It's so dangerous because although computers can't learn how to do things that require a human type of intelligence, like a dog can't do it. A dog can't drive a car, no matter how you teach them. I know they had the one dog that could ride a surfboard and all that. We know about that. But it's a certain type of intelligence which can allow you to tell the difference between a bug on your windshield and an optical illusion which is looking like a bug on your windshield or something like that. Happens more than you know. Not just that thing, but driving requires a certain type of intelligence that computers can't really master too well. Now, I don't know if it still works like this, and yes, I'm going to get on with this story. I'm only going to tell you about this with this driving business with the computers, which everybody's all charged up about, with their fetch the car button on their Teslas, etc., etc. From what I understand, and I may be behind the curve on this, a couple of years ago, computers were learning by redundancy. And when I say that, I mean they were learning through starting at a starting point, and they move forward, and they run through a series of zeros and ones. Now, let's just say that. I mean, I know CDs work like that and DVDs, but that's basically the structure of which supercomputers work. Now, the supercomputers may have changed. It may be different now. The last time I heard about computers, they were desperately trying to come up with what they called DNA computer savvy, or computers that used what they call DNA technology. Nothing to do with the human body. Not really. It had to do with the way computers learn and absorb information. Now, they may have it already, so this may be all for naught. But what they were trying to do, it's kind of like, as a human, we can play PlayStation, or you can play Nintendo, and you can play a game up to a certain time where you have trouble. And that's why they make memory sticks, because you don't want to go through and play the whole game again, because you've kind of mastered that. It takes time, and you already know how to get through that. So you want to get right back to the part where you were at. That's what they've been trying to do with computers. They've been trying to get computers to understand where they are at and what they do not need to relearn in order to be able to make maximum efficient use of their computing power. So right now, probably, although I'm not sure about this, because I'll probably get Bitcoin computer geeks that will call into me or leave comments and say, hey, this is absolutely wrong. What you're saying is wrong. Okay, so I add that. But they're trying to get computers to not have to retrace the entire game that they're playing or the problem they're solving. For example, you've played a game on PlayStation and you're at a point where it's hard. You do not want to play the game all the way through again, so you have a memory card, okay? That's what they're trying to do with computers. So ideally, what they'd like to do is they'd like the computer to enter into a car, look at the situation at hand, realize what is the over-obvious and what's the merely obvious. And computers have to go through a series of complicated, intricate, memory-requiring steps. And we don't. We can get in the car, we can look, and we can basically understand what's going on. Sometimes it's even just a feel. Sometimes it's even just a feel with humans, like you can tell when something's wrong. You understand? So it could be anything. It could be somebody running a jackhammer outside, and it sounds like something is wrong with the car, and it's going dig, 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 and it may confuse the computer. And the computer will have to use all of its savvy to be able to figure that out. And it may do it very quickly, it may not. Who knows? So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to develop computer DNA technology, and who knows? It may come. I still contend that it takes a certain type of intelligence that computers cannot get. And just to let you know, Star Trek did an episode on it called the M5 computer. And to make a long story short, they've invented a supercomputer which can outperform human captains. It outperforms it. It can fight 4 ships and win against 4 equally gunned ships. And the problem was in that episode is the man, it was a black man too. It was a brilliant scientist. See, Gene Roddenberry was a genius and already had things pretty much figured out in the 60s, mid-60s to the late 60s. He had already had a lot of stuff figured out that we didn't get to yet. And what the point of the episode was that the computer at that point wasn't just a computer, but it almost qualified as a life form, because it had taken parts of the personality of the programmer. And it was this black guy who let his own feelings, for example, if you think somebody is lazy and the computer has a chance to save 2 people, and one is a lazy society and the other one is a brave society, It depends on the personality of the programmer who is going to be saved. Things like this. Okay? So, in the episode, at the end, the Enterprise, which is Kirk's ship, is hooked up with the M5, and they play war games to see how well this can function against other Federation ships. And what happens is the computer thinks it's real, and it starts shooting at another ship, and it cripples another ship badly. And it, I think, kills 2 or 3 people on the ship. There's severe damage on the ship. And the crew, or maybe there wasn't a crew on the Enterprise, I think it was just Kirk, because the computer was going to do everything. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. And Kirk was there with the inventor, the black guy, the inventor of this, of the M5. And he kept telling the black guy, disengage this thing. He says, it can't, because it's made its own rationalization of what's going on. And I forget exactly what happens, but they were able to, I believe, disengage the firing. So the ship would not, could be stopped from firing, which was at least a step in the right direction, except for when you've pissed off your co-Starfleet ship, which you've killed a couple people on, or you've seriously damaged the ship and people are wounded and everything else, and they're being attacked. And now the ship is coming around again for another attack, but they've been able to disengage the firing mechanism. That they were able to do with the help of the man who invented it there, that scientist. And the problem at the end of the show is that the Enterprise is getting near the ship, which it crippled severely. And now it's going to be taken out because that captain of the other ship was a friend of Kirk. He knew him. They knew each other. I guess, I forget if they went to school with each other, but they knew each other. They knew each other's personality. And Kirk said he made the decision to, as the ship approached, to not put up the shields. And he did it because he could have protected the ship from fire, from his captain there, the other Starfleet captain who had his injured ship, courtesy of Kirk's M5 computer. So Kirk left the shields down and approached the ship aggressively. That's all they could do. And he knew, or he suspected through his human intuition, that the captain of the other ship probably knew that Kirk would not order an attack like this on his ship, based on everything that he knew about Captain Kirk. So Captain Kirk risked everything by not activating the shields and hoping that that other captain should know that there was something wrong and not to attack the Enterprise. Do you understand the story here? I know it's complicated and long. And there's the problem with computers. They cannot have that human intuition. That was just one, and that was made in 66, by the way, or 67. That was Gene Roddenberry. That wasn't me. That was his idea, and we're going back, what, 40, 50 years? Okay, 50 years? We're talking 2010, 2000, 90, 80, 70. We're going back almost 60 years now. It may have been born in his mind earlier than 67. Now, to the original point of this video. I failed. Again, I failed all of you. Because I did not pre-diagnose what they were going to do to keep the scam going. and the jubilance of the people to go and to conform and to do something which will help you board airplanes and be able to make life much easier for you if you do it. And you all know what I'm talking about. I cannot say any more. Okay? I should have known that there was another artificial intelligence generated, because they run these things through hypothetical situations. They've got data from Amazon and all sorts of, your call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes. That's true. It's also being recorded because they're going to take these hypothetical situations of somebody being upset for a poor item that doesn't, you know what I mean? And then they break it apart and they analyze it by computers. And the computer's so savvy that it says, here are the people right over here that didn't get any satisfaction at all. Here are the people who were hostilely aggressive. Here are the people who were satisfied with a $5 rebate. Whatever it is, you understand? This is all correlated. This is how they get smart and know what to do. So, what was the game last night for my last video? Well, they had to make it so that you wouldn't want to be left out of the big superhuman thing. You're a superhero. You understand? Say, all that business about getting on planes and stuff, that's okay. I mean, yeah, we know you're all in support of that. But my God, don't have any doubts at all, because look, they can make you into a superhero. That's coming. It's going to be superhero. Now, why would you even stop to pause? For God's sakes, you're going to be a superhuman soon. It's coming. Maybe already here. Superhuman. Superhero. I read it to you last night. I could show it to you. I didn't catch that. I didn't pre-catch that. I should have, shouldn't I? I'll bet you there were a lot of people smarter than this dumb lawn man that did. They're just not visible because they don't make those kind of ideas visible here. Or anywhere else, as far as I could tell. There were probably people who said, hey, get ready because they're going to make this absolutely irresistible. And for God's sakes, don't drop the ball. Keep up with the, keep up with it. We've got a tally that we have to keep up with here. And, we have goals to meet. And this was one hell of a way to get people's mind off the ball and onto the superhero aspect of things. Folks, it is so evil. It is so evil. Watch that video of mine, the last video, or go and read the story on Drudge. If you understand and have watched Star Trek at all, the original, okay, or any other science fiction, Bradbury or whatever, you will get a chill down your spine because it's all coming to fruition. And I'm not trying to say even me, because I don't consider myself to be all that smart. Honestly, that's why I know we're in trouble when I'm the one that's at the top here, okay? And I know I am, because I'm telling everybody things that I don't hear coming out of other people's mouth. You understand? The psych op with Tucker Carlson and all of this nonsense and you know what I mean? We can't save the people. They're just not capable of it. So it's just going to be one thing after another. Look, I love you folks. This allows me to get my neurosis under control when I do this. Now, you can tell by the jib and the content of this that I am a paranoid schizophrenic, okay? That's obvious to anyone that watches this, okay? Don't be afraid of getting something that's going to make you a superhero. Using something of professional athletes. My God, why wouldn't you? This is great news. Subscribe and welcome to the Jerking Circle. Bye.